Welcome to The Approach Shot, the golf show that's more laughs than links, more stories than strokes, more guffaws than golfers. Here are the hosts of The Approach Shot, John Ashton and Neal Michaels.
The lovely woman says it is time for us, The Approach Shot, and we are not going to argue.
She's always right.
Just ask her. She will tell you.
Wait, sounds like all our wives.
Yeah.
They're always right.
Always right. Even when she's wrong, refer back to rule number one. That is it. I am John Ashton. He is Neal Michaels. And the guy who looks taller than all of us is Frank Basset from our sister podcast, Golf Talk America, and one of our good buddies. And we just kind of like all hang out, have fun, and drink heavily together.
He is an asset to the golf world, and you can't spell asset without Basset.
I'm a what? Asset. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I made sure I said that very clearly.
Right.
Oh, my God. Boys, what are y'all up to? What's going on here?
We're just sitting here. We decided we were going to have some fun, man. We were going to bring you along. And Frank's an old musician.
Yeah.
Neal and I are old disc jockeys.
Or former
musician. Okay.
Not old.
I'm sure Neal and I have played records that you have played on the air many times.
You might have. I bet you've even. Yeah, in the old days, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, and outside of the Memphis area, and in the 60s and 70s, where people like Al Green, Booker T and the MGs, the Pointer Sisters, just a lot of different folks recorded there. We played on a ton of albums, and a lot of us were studio musicians that went on the road eventually, and it was a blast. I mean, it was really a lot of fun, and you guys were spinning records in your era. Yeah, so y'all were my idols. The DJs I thought were really cool.
No, back then we were, but we lost that somewhere along the line.
We were begging for crumbs. Okay, and you guys are out there getting all the, studio musicians don't get the girls. No, DJs and traveling musicians get the girls.
Right.
Studio musicians have to clean up after the session and lock up.
On the way out. Unless, of course, they all get together and change their name to Toto. And then,
That's people, Toto. Who Toto? Was he in a movie?
Well, didn't you play for Blood, Sweat, and Tears more than just studio?
I did. No, I didn't do the studio stuff. I was on the road with a lot of different bands. When you record in studios, they have to they overdub and put like additional horns on there, additional trumpets, additional trombones, whatever they have. But then when they go out on the road, it's just like in Blood, Sweat, and Tears, you had Lou Soloff as the trumpet player, okay? Mm-hmm. Or Bargerone as the trombonist. So they needed more musicians for the road team. And that's when they would pick up musicians that knew their charts and they trusted would not, get them in jail out on the road. And so we got
they couldn't find any, so they hired Frank.
That's pretty much true. Do that. It was a lot of fun, guys, doing that kind of stuff with different bands and hanging out with Tower of Power, which is a West Coast band. East Bay Breeze is their nickname because they're out of Oakland Soul.
Yeah.
And then going to New York and got to play with a lot of different folks in New York.
See, we got to have stories because we got radio stories. He's got on the road musician stories, and we all have golf stories.
Yeah, we do.
And we're going to tell them in length. Names will be changed to protect whoever.
Justin Thomas lost his sponsor because of one word. If any sponsors had been with us on the golf course at French Lick recently, we would have zero sponsors. We would offend the Little Sisters of the Poor until the
I was going to say, John, you just said that the three of us are going to tell a bunch of old golf stories, and I could hear like the clicking of radios from coast to coast. Like, is there something else I could be doing with my time?
Yeah, really.
Hey, man, you're gonna laugh here.
I listened to Matthew Wolf, boys, your podcast with Wolfie, and it was great. This sucks, but
y'all gonna laugh your butts off when we come right back. And thank God these sponsors weren't at French Lick with us because they're still with us now, and we'll be back after they talk.
Calm down.
It doesn't sound like that.
We're the Approach Shot. We promise not to sing. We'll be right back.
No promises. There's a revolution going on in the world of shaving, and its name is Harry's. Have you dumped your overpriced, still have to go to the drugstore? My dad used these blades. I have. I switched to Harry's. With Harry's, you don't have to choose between a great shave and a fair price. My Harry's razor contours to my face and gives me a close, comfortable shave at a great price. And you know what else? My Harry's razor stays sharper longer. They believe in the quality of their blades so much you get a 100% money-back guarantee. Why don't you join me in the revolution and you'll become a fan of Harry's too? For a limited time, Harry's is offering listeners of The Approach Shot their starter set at harrys.com/approach. The starter set includes a 5-blade razor, a weighted ergonomic handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel blade cover, a $13 value, all for just $3. There's never been a better time to try Harry's. Go to harrys.com/approach to redeem this offer today. That's a $13 value for only $3. But to get it, you have to go to harrys.com/approach.
We are The Approach Shot. I'm John Ashton. He is Neal Michaels.
You made me so very happy. I'm sorry. I promised nothing.
I know.
I promised.
I'm calling
nothing.
David right now. Mr. Thomas, David Clayton Thomas here. He sucks singing, doesn't he? Voice. It always was the voice. And David Clayton Thomas is one of the greatest singers of all time.
Right.
He at Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Terry Kath at Chicago were two of the greatest. Two of the greatest.
Yeah, I once made a mistake. I was just making radio comment, and I hurt Frank's feelings, and he didn't talk to me for almost 2 holes once. Because Frank's one of those guys who loves to play music when he plays golf. It's music from his era. It's music from my era. It's music from our era. A Chicago song came on, and I looked. I say, Frank, those guys basically put you all out of business, didn't they? Meaning Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I didn't realize how painful a comment that would.
I don't know why in the hell you had to bring that up again. They took our record sales, but again, I was on the road, so I still got paid for playing on the road. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but everybody played a lot of golf. And even now, guys, when we're doing shows and out on the road and doing Golf Talk America like we do at PGA Tour events, a lot of the musicians, if they're in town, will come out and that's how we get them on the show. I mean, all the musicians want to be around golfers. The golfers want to be around the musicians. The football players want to be around the golfers. It's just a cross-pollination of talent, I guess, in some form or fashion. And, everybody wanted to be around the DJs, because you guys knew all the musicians. And, you were padding your back pocket with all that payola money in the old days. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Let's take a second here. We know each other, obviously, extremely well, but perhaps the listeners and the viewers don't know that Frank is the co-host of Golf Talk America, the podcast, and the entire umbrella that is Golf Talk America's. So maybe we should tell people why he's here, other than the fact that he played some music every once in a while.
Yeah, we do some shows, and Golf Talk America, those weekend golf guys, The Approach Shot. We have some other shows, The Game in Dallas. Some other shows that'll be coming on board on the Golf Talk America network. Be on each other's shows, and good looking chick you guys had on the show. Gemma. Who was that good looking girl? Beach thing? What it was?
Gemma. Yeah.
Whoa. She's cute.
And she does some phenomenal artwork, which we're still giving away.
Am I eligible?
No. Yes, you are. Yes. No, he's not. No. John says you're not, so you're not. I was going to say yes, but that's why Frank likes me better.
Much better. Trust me. Much better.
We're also giving it away on those weekend golf guys. And Jeff Smith, one of the top 100 golf instructors in the country and co-host of those weekend golf guys, he said, don't worry about giving it away, John. It's mine.
Okay.
Okay. That's just like what I just did for the senior LPGA championships coming up 26th or so of August. So I picked up some things for the auction. It benefits the Riley's Hospital for Children, which is a great show.
Nice.
And so I called my friend Clint Black and said, I need some stuff, Clint. So we go to his bus because he's about to leave, and Clint gets on his fancy bus and he travels on that. So he pulls out a harmonica in D and gives it to me out of his case. I'm not going to be doing any of these songs. So he signs it and hands me that. His latest new vinyl album that he has, and some of his new coffee that he's having the beans grown somewhere with Juan Valdez picking them up in the mountains in Mexico. Who knows? But really, Clint's a great guy, a fabulous musician. Well, he gives me this stuff. I take it up to French Lick a few weeks ago, and I give it to Dave Harner, who's the director of golf at French Lick. Well, Dave's also a musician and a guitar player. Yeah. And 3 of his employees said, yeah, that stuff will never see the light of day after Dave gets his hands on it. But just to get it out there are Clint Black memorabilia pieces that will be bid on for the Senior LPGA Championship, Dave Harner. So let's crawl under it. Love it there.
I like the fact that Frank just dropped Clint Black's name like, nothing. So, I called my buddy Clint Black.
I didn't mean it that way.
But you see, that did.
And I do that. And I don't think about it because you guys can do it too. I'm in the music world and around all these people. And here in Nashville, you go to Starbucks and have coffee with Keith Urban. I mean, he's sitting next to you having coffee. I mean, it's just Vince Gill. We play golf together a lot. So there's just a lot of people in Nashville that we all just kind of know and take for granted. And I guess it would be like living out. Of course, Neal, I guess you're out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Being out there, you probably have an opportunity to run into Dennis Paulson every once in a while when you're out there. Well, he thinks he's big, but he does some kind of show called Inside the Ropes with a guy named Carl Paulson, who should be, I think, his son or cousin. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They're not related. Anyway, it's just musicians and folks around, and it's a lot of fun to be around those people.
How come Nashville? I mean, it's always been the home for country music, but now, I mean, rockers and everybody just flocking to Nashville for some reason.
Well, if for your listeners, if you come to Nashville, I mean, Nashville's just a big party. It really, really is. We call it Nash Vegas, seriously. But Nashville has some of the finest. I know LA has them, New York has them, Chicago has some of the finest recording studios and some of the greatest producers in the country. Yeah. It's even like back in the day when Led Zeppelin was around, and they still are. They're just in wheelchairs trying to play. Kind of like the Stones on their new tour. It's going to be called the Cadaver Tour.
They too are playing in the senior tour, but it's a different kind.
Yeah, they make more money on their tour, trust me. But Led Zeppelin came to Memphis, Tennessee, because of one of the engineers that was there, and recorded Led Zeppelin 3 totally in Memphis, Tennessee, because of the engineer. Same thing like Nashville. Memphis was always the home of R&B, and really should have been where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which rock and roll started there, should be, not up in Ohio, in my opinion. Memphis kind of lost it because Memphis had some political issues, and Nashville's always been Music City because they named themselves that. They promoted themselves as that. And if you say it long enough, you start to believe it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So there.
But I mean, all the country, the history of country music is right there in the middle of Nashville. Ryman Auditorium and the original Grand Ole Opry.
Well, we do a thing every year. I do a golf tournament here. I MC the event, and the golf tournament is Ray Stevens' golf tournament. If you've ever heard of Ray Stevens,
yes, they call him the Streak.
Yes, they call him the Streak. Mississippi Squirrel. Don't look, Martha, whatever. Anyway, I do his tournament every year, and he has a place called Cabaret here. It's just unbelievable the type of musicians that you have in this town that are just old line musicians. Ray just sold his studio on Music Row, 16th Avenue, historic place. But he said, I don't need it anymore. It's just a block. Well, between he and Eddie Arnold, they owned most of Nashville and what's now Brentwood, Tennessee. Seriously. Ray sold his little studio for $25 million in cash.
Wow.
So this place is historic. There are tons of old musicians. It's just like we say, and we talk a lot, John, you and I do, about the senior LPGA players. They don't really get the recognition that I think they should get for the type of quality of players they were. But you look at the musicians you have in this town that have been around forever and ever, and they all hung around with Jerry Reed and Burt Reynolds, and all the celebrities from Hollywood came here. I mean,
there was a guy named Ed Green who was one of the guys, old line country guys, member of the Grand Ole Opry. And I lived in Nashville for a few years, and his son Alan was a friend of mine. And Ed Green had a golf scramble every year at Nashboro Village for the old country musicians home, or whatever it's called, raising money for the retired musicians fund. And I was playing with Alan, Ed's son, and there was a guy in there big guy. He had, I think, 5 clubs in his bag and a fifth of Jack Daniels. And he could hit the ball a ton.
That could be a number of people.